Hello my beautiful buds. Welcome back to my channel, Sprouts with Joy. My name is Joy, and if you like to talk about plants, you're in the right place. If I sound a little bit sick and congested and iffy, that's because I am. Again, which sucks, but thankfully I'm over the worst of it. But I just wanted to start another kind of week of plant tasks, plant related things with you guys. I mean, you kind of know the drill at this point. I've done this a few times. So to start off with that, I wanted to air layer my philodendron atabapoense. So here, let me show you how she's looking, or he, I don't know. Frankly, I feel like I go back and forth with this plant a lot. Not that it really matters, but you know, whatever. Okay, so this is my philodendron atabapoense. This is the newest leaf, and he has shaped out to be so pretty. But I'm thinking I'll air layer right here, like around this node, because he's reaching the top of the pole. I purchased him on this moss pole. I think moss poles are fantastic, but generally I'm not as much of a fan of moss poles just because I am not good at keeping them moist. And I know there's different tricks with the cup trick or water bottle trick, but this moss pole that came with the plant isn't wide enough to have a cup of water up there. So I'm thinking I might start this plant over, but I want it to be really well rooted first. I figured we can just get started here. I'm definitely going to need to moisten this sphagnum moss right here. Actually, as a side note, I'll probably do this in a future video, or maybe for this video, I don't know if I'll get to it, but I really need to go through and sterilize all of my used sphagnum moss and perlite and stuff, and go through my propagation boxes. So that is just something that's ever on my mind. I'm gonna go moisten some of this moss, and I'm gonna use this plastic wrap. I wish that I had cling wrap, you know, it's a little bit stickier, I guess, than plastic wrap, because this saran wrap or whatever you want to call it, it's just, I've found that it doesn't form around the moss as well. I have to use tape, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I just don't have the other kind on hand, so whatever. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm just going to start by putting the cling wrap kind of all around, resting it down here. And I might actually tape right here just to secure it right now. So I'm just kind of right there. And then we're just kind of stuff a bunch of moss in here, right around the node. Oh no! Oh, that's tragic. That's a mess right there. I guess I probably shouldn't stuff it too much. I was being a little bit ambitious. This will probably be adequate, and then the roots will just grow down in there. Guys, I made such a mess. All that spag just fell. But it's okay. It's okay. I'll sweep it up once it dries up. Okay. So then I'll just kind of bunch it up. I'll try to keep this relatively moist. Keep an eye on it, not let it dry out. Honestly, while we're already here, I'm kind of halfway tempted to try to air layer my monstera peru. All right, impulsive decision here. I got more tape, and since we're already here, let's do my monstera peru. I took some cuttings of her, and they're just not rooting in classic monstera Peru fashion. So I think I'm gonna do the same thing. So let's see, she's kind of putting out a runner right now, which she's really misbehaving because for a long time she was pretty much thriving for me, but more recently she's been misbehaving. So I would like monstera Peru cuttings. I haven't totally decided if I will like pot her into the pot to make a fuller pot, if that makes sense. Or if I will put it away or use it to trade. I don't really know. I haven't totally decided. I just know that I've been wanting to propagate her for a little while. And now is my chance. Because we're right here doing it already and we got all this stuff. I wasn't really planning on doing this. But I have tried to air layer her before and it was successful, but I didn't make the cut. I decided not to. Because I just didn't feel like it. I'm gonna get 2 nodes actually, at least. I think is what we're gonna do. I should have gotten more tape before I put more moss in. Goodness. This is a little tricky. I wish I had more hands so I could do this more effectively. Put more paper on the bottom just so it has more support. This poor leaf right here. Okay, so hopefully the roots will be coaxed to kind of grow out this way. I have not been paying attention to the viewfinder, so hopefully you can see what was happening just now. I have no idea. Okay. So right there is just this mass of sphagnum moss, and hopefully that holds. Oh. Well, that's that. I will plan to keep you guys updated on the progress of my philodendron atabapoense and my monstera Peru air layering situation. But this is pretty easy. I feel like I should be air layering my plants more often because it's such a great way of guaranteeing roots before you cut. I wish that I'd done that with more of my plants before cutting them, but it's okay. Hey guys, funny story. So last night I was in this room. This is like the guest bedroom, plant room type situation. And I was just looking over my plants, making sure they're all doing fine. They were not fine. I had a Tradescantia albiflora rainbow, which maybe I'll put a picture right here if I have one. I thought that I had just like severely underwatered it because it was looking really sad, and I think that I did miss a watering, but it reacted like way more dramatically than it normally would, so it was kind of weird. So I went ahead, it used to live up on one of these floating shelves, and I pulled it down and I was considering, okay, well, would it be worth it to like maybe just chop and prop it? So I started that process, but then like I turned over the leaves and it was infested with spider mites, like one of the worst infestations that I've seen in my collection thus far. And so I made a very quick decision to throw it in the garbage. I'm sorry, but I feel like treating spider mites with like philodendron or plants with larger leaves is a lot more doable. But with a Tradescantia that has those little itty bitty leaves that are like really textured and fuzzy, No thank you. And like half the plant was already dead anyways, and it was a pretty cheap plant. It was like $10. So all those things taken into account, I decided to throw it away. It was not worth, like, I would pay $10 to not have to deal with that situation. That's kind of how I looked at it. So it is kind of sad to see it go, and that shelf is looking really empty right now, but it's okay. Last night I hurriedly checked a bunch of my plants to see if any of the other surrounding plants had spider mites. Unfortunately, so thankfully, let me start with the positive first. Thankfully, not a lot of plants were affected, I don't think. I didn't really see, like, I whipped out my phone flashlight and was looking at all the leaves, and I only spotted spider mites on one other plant in the room, and it was a plant like directly beneath the tradescantia, which was my philodendron mamei, which is sad because I just put out like the most gorgeous leaf it has put out, period. So I immediately started treating that one. This is the next morning. I think I will take you guys along with me while I treat pretty much most of these plants, if not all of them, for spider mites, more as a precaution than anything. Because again, I didn't really see spider mites on any of the other plants other than the mamei and the tradescantia, but I'd rather be safe, and this will be a good excuse to rinse off some leaves anyways. But before we get into that, I love bullet journaling and having planners, stuff like that. Just, I need a place to put the crap in my brain, you know what I mean? Since I had my baby in October, I have not been able to find my normal planner / bullet journal like anywhere, which is a little weird. But I decided after like 6-7 weeks of not having my planner, and now that I'm like starting work again, it's just, I'm getting anxious without having some place to put my thoughts. I had like a spare journal thing already in my house, so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to start a new bullet journal. And I haven't like started on the actual spreads yet, but last night when I discovered the spider mites and I was trying to think of like what plant chores I would want to do, I decided to make just a separate section in this journal just for plants, particularly like plant chores and things I need to get done, things I want to plan, because otherwise it's just all swimming in my head. So I was making a list, and we are not getting to all of these today. This is like for all of December and probably January too, of just random things I need to do, like potting up certain plants, cleaning certain areas, stuff like that. But I figured it would be really fun and satisfying to cross off air layering my philodendron atabapoense in monstera, Peru, which we did the other day. So I'm just going to do that. Oh no! That's really sad. I did not, that was not a straight line. That was a little bit less satisfying, but still somewhat satisfying. All right. I feel like I'm procrastinating at this point. Let's treat these spider mites. Oh, by the way, so the way I'm going to treat these spider mites, I'm going to go in order of like least likely plant to have spider mites in this room to most likely plant, like the plant that actually has spider mites, which is my mamei down here. I'm going to go in that order just because that might minimize me accidentally exposing plants to spider mites like unnecessarily. Like if they don't already have spider mites and then I'm treating it next to a plant that does have spider mites. I don't know. Maybe that's being way overly cautious, but I'm just gonna go about it that way, and I'm just gonna take them like maybe in pairs of like 2 to my bathtub and spray them down with a mixture of water, alcohol, and dish soap. And I just kind of eyeball the ratio, shake it up, and spray each individual leaf, and like particularly prioritizing like the undersides of the leaves. And then I used to use like a paintbrush on them, like the heart-shaped leaves method, like Rachel. That's like the best spider mite treatment video that I've seen, because that has saved many of my plants. But now I've started just massaging with my hands because I found that maybe it's less effective, but it is more gentle, because sometimes using the brush would damage leaves. Like if, depending on the plant, like if the plant has more delicate leaves, it would damage it. So all that aside, let's do this. I really don't think that the spider mites got all the way over here, and I don't see anything, but you know what? We're just going to be super cautious. I just realized that my SD card ran out of space like halfway through this, so I don't know what you guys missed or didn't miss of these plants, so, but you know, you get the idea. I have just a couple more plants to go, and also this guy, the leaf is stuck and that's so annoying. I tried unsticking it, but then I started getting nervous, so course, here's this guy, which, okay, honestly though, look at the leaf on my philodendron mamei. So I've been like so happy about this guy, but then of course he gets spider mites. It's so stupid. But yeah, so this guy obviously is going to be the last one I'm going to treat really fast, but I mean, you've seen me like treat all of them a million times, so it's the same idea. I did treat him last night already, so I don't see any visible signs of spider mites anymore. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and just clean this room, like wipe down the surfaces and that sort of thing. Just out of an abundance of precaution, because I know that spider mites can technically like live independent of a plant for at least a little while. So I'm just gonna clean all the surfaces. To be honest, it needs it anyways, so yes, I'm gonna treat this guy real fast and then we'll get to cleaning this room. As a side note, my like home's humidifier pooped out on me. So I did get a new humidifier. It's an early Christmas present. Not this one, but it's a Levoit one in my bedroom. So I'm gonna just get rid of this boy. Well, with that, I think that that's all I really have time to do today. But, you know, I feel pretty accomplished. I treated all the plants in here for spider mites, and I was able to tidy up. And something about adding that humidifier at the very end, oh, it's so satisfying. But, man, like fall and winter really tends to be pest season around here, so it's kind of exhausting to have to deal with that. But, you know, it's just part of owning plants. I'm just glad that it wasn't anything worse. Like, I'm terrified of the day that thrips might come to haunt me. Like, please, dear God, no. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me. It was just a couple of days this time. It wasn't like the whole week, but honestly, this was more than enough, I feel like. Yeah, there were some other things I was thinking about doing. I mean, you saw that mile-long list of chores of things I want to do, but well, with that, I guess that's the end of the video. So if you liked this video, please feel free to comment, like, subscribe. All those things are super helpful for me and my YouTube journey. So yeah, I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye!